as you may remember from last time, I failed. I failed at doing Dunkirk. I didn't get enough units out in the allotted amount of turns. So this is a replay, and so we need to hold Dunkirk for 14 turns. We're doing that just fine right now. The German air power is coming over. And evacuate 6 units. Currently we have 4 units out. And we want to evacuate 2 French ground units at least for bonus secondary objectives. So we're going to continue with this. Let's see, what do we have left to do? No, they're going to stay where they are. They're going to stay where they are. Yep. Yeah, I think everybody just staying basically. Well, this French unit, let's... Yeah. Repair that up, or reinforce it up a bit. The title change for you. Oh, I was more referring to, yeah, thank you. I hope the sound is good for everybody. I was thinking more Armored Brigade versus Order of Battle. World War II part of it, because it still says Armored Brigade. But yes, we want everyone to know what game we're playing. Right. And we are of course doing the Dunkirk scenario. So let's give the boss his turn. I mishandled here. Too loud? Okay, I can deal with that after this. Always want audio feedback, because what I'm hearing is not the same balance, obviously. German army's pushing. Right. Okay, well, we've got 5. Moves out. Very good. Now. Options. Audio. Hopefully that'll be good. Category viewer. Yeah, I don't know. I think we will well. And I also know there's some forces in there, but they're not going to take as much damage from the artillery. Nothing ever truly delete from the internet. But yeah, in a way, I think you're very right about that. Okay, plus want to do the most damage. one means I guess. Yeah, see, I keep trying to reinforce these guys. But I've let them get too much air over my airfield here when I had them down. No, I want it all. I want it all. We did take some damage from that. I think you're going to stay right where you're at. You're going to move today because you're slow. Oh, okay. The scale on this game changes per mission, per the mission that you're playing. Because we're playing this is Dunkirk, okay? And this is the whole defense of Dunkirk. It's not consistent. It's not a game that you should look for consistency in that manner. So, yeah, really can't give you what the scale is. We're going to get enough British units out. I'm rethinking withdrawing any more now that we've got this, because we're supposed to hold this for 14 turns. We might as well put you up in the area. Better to get you shot down for doing something useful than just bombed in the hangar. Unfortunately, well, I'm going to stay right under you. Unfortunately, we do not have anything that equips to a anti-air cruiser or something that can actively shoot down. It does have a radius of protection if the attack something within it. Yeah, Arno and I were chatting a little bit before starting of this. As to scooters. Okay. Slightly worried about them flanking around. Yeah, now that I've weakened them enough. It will mean that these guys are a bit vulnerable, but they're dug in and on the bridge. And by wrecking that unit, that's nice. Okay. No, I'm not going to pursue that. Choices, choices, choices. Continue. Fighter gets bombed in here. The hero there is wounded. He's getting some enemy fire. And after these guys, shoot down. Maybe I should have withdrew them. I don't know. I really handled it badly early on in that I landed both of my fighters at the same time and in a manner in which they were able to come over and bomb them. Without choices, it's a monorail experience. Yes, absolutely. gonna see if I can get a couple of French units out as well. Yes, wounded, hospitalized, out for the rest of the mission. No. I think we'll just walk you back. We'll run back. The sound was reasonably decent for the time period. You guys are fairly well dug in, so I do want to clear this thing out of here. Okay, well, we've seen the back of that armor. Hitting their heavy infantry keeps them from hitting line. Now, where am I going to get my second French unit other than maybe him? But yeah, we have just a few turns. Hitting the primary goal, of course, is because we want to see the next mission. Allies Defiant will include any alt history stuff like finishing their or earlier than historically. No, I don't think it will. Because I don't think there's going to be an ability to invade Germany for Allies Defiant here from the time frame. Because I have not played through. I think somebody has put a scenario list out there, and maybe if somebody wants to try to dig it up, they can link it. I have not specifically not read it yet. Wishing to sort of be a bit surprised as I play. And these guys, we're just going to see about flying you out of here. Get your last little bit of strength out. Make them pay for everything as the Stukas go down. Yes, they've already announced that there's going to be a three-part. This is going to be a three-part series. That has been confirmed. Obviously, this has been released. The other two parts, I presume, this is my presumption, and I think it's the intention to get them out this year. And from there, they've stated basically that it is a... I'm going to pull you back a little bit and also reinforce you some. From there, it's just how well sales go. If they're going to keep doing more to the game, and sales, I gather, have been good. I only from their just general public reaction to things do I have any idea of that. Yeah, I think the next thing will come back would be this armored car. Yeah, it's getting quite popular, from what I understand. I think it was not on. I don't want to say. I don't want to give wrong information out. There was a new sales opportunity for it recently. A new store option. I guess they're going to pursue him to death out there. Yeah. As he crashes in the sea. Well, the Royal Navy will pick him up. Get the pilot. No, it isn't as pretty as Panzer Corps 2. That's quite true. I mean, it's not ugly, but it's not as pretty. But it was one of the things I like to point out. I mean, it's very similar to Panzer Corps 1. I mean, there's different rules to it. It's not just the same but different. There's different elements to it. But what it really does have that Panzer Corps 2 doesn't have for now. You know, they've talked about, you know, someday in the future it'll be different, but for right now it's the only one that is doing a similar type game, but is focusing on things other than the Germans. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to get one of these units out in time to get the French. Can we get gunboats out? Maybe that counts, I don't know. So here you have been strafed a bit. Now we will reinforce you because we are currently holding here quite successfully. To the bridge. See back here to yeah, I love playing from the German perspective. That is really super cool. But that isn't the only things I want to do. Oh yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with being German focused at all. I'm just saying that there are good reasons, even though it's not as pretty as a game, to play this. Okay. I want to cancel this. Yeah. I just wanted to see those are the two units I'm trying to get out in 2 turns, and I don't think I can do so. But we'll still be able to... Oh, I forgot to move you. I don't care about that aircraft. It's going to die. Like one of the really good aspects about this over Panzer Corps is the ability to concentrate air power over a particular target. You notice the higher level bomber of the Condor did not get anti-aircraft fire from the anti-aircraft guns on the ships, where the lower level bomber did. So you know they're matching things up to type. Like I say, we didn't get it done in time. No, it's still not going to get us out in 2 turns. Oh, that's right, we don't have an undo on that. it didn't take it. That's the thing I genuinely don't like about this game, is the lack of an idea. Move a little closer, get these guys into here. Umbrella. From there. So far, our reasonably active defense has done quite well. Though I know I'm not playing on the hardest difficulty, partially just because I want to show off the mechanics and the different styles of play for the different scenarios. Mondor is being awfully effective. My evaluation is overly effective. There's a Condor, isn't it? We'll check in a moment. Now the Condor, very interesting aircraft. I think it's really cool. It was designed to be Germany's civilian transatlantic aircraft. Prior to the Condor for Germany, taking off from a German airport, and a lot of them come out of northern Germany because they are flying boats, in essence. And that they, we've done it. In spite of the German strategic success, we managed to save both of the men for fight another day. But wars are not won by evacuations. The Battle of France comes to an end. Battle of Britain may begin soon. Okay, so I didn't pull out the 2 French units, got 6, held Dunkirk. So they had ships out, and before I go on, I want to, because it's really cool, I think. It's ships out in the middle of the Atlantic for both air transit to North America as well as for South America. And the flying boats, commercial flying boats, they would, these are big. A seaplane is a more or less normal airplane with some floats attached to it. Flying boat is an airplane that basically has a hull that is shaped to be in the water, just as definitions. So these flying boats, and these sort of like the clipper ships that the Americans had, Pan Am and others, airlines. Now they were much bigger than at least most of the German stuff and could have very long range. And part of the reason a lot of people liked it is the safety aspect. It was believed that if you were flying across the ocean, if the engines conked out, not all of them maybe, but some of them enough that it was difficult to fly, they could just land on the water and, send out a radio message, SOS, we're here, come and get us. That, if they can make a decent landing, they could sit out there and wait a few days or whatever, and some ship would come by and pick them up. At least that was the idea, the safety idea of it. Where if you're flying a plane that must land on an airport on land, it's going to sink fairly quickly. You might be able to, even if you have a nice gentle landing, you might be able to evacuate it, but the aircraft's going to sink. So that was sort of the safety. But they had these ships that would sit out in the middle of the sea. The German flying boats would have to find the ship out in the middle of the sea. Various navigation, including radio beam strength signals, come in, see it, land there, get hauled up onto the back of the ship. It was set up a big ramp that they would haul the airplane, the flying boat, out of the water onto the back of the ship. These are a small ship, and they would refuel it. The passengers get off, take a break, get something to eat or whatever. refuel the aircraft, do any sort of possible maintenance that they need to do, and then set the aircraft, let it go back. After the passengers get back on it, let it go on, back out in the sea, and then have us out in the middle of the Atlantic, which isn't known for being a calm ocean, take off and continue flying. That's how it was done for Lufthansa and other airlines before the Condor. So the Condor was specifically designed to take off from a German airport, basically fly to New York City, and that it have enough range to do it. So it was an aircraft that at the time stressed the limits of engineering to make it as light as possible, so that, obviously more weight, harder to keep it up in the air. So it's a very delicate aircraft, 4-engine, very long range aircraft designed to go out there and travel across, carry mail and passengers in a relatively efficient and relatively safe manner. As we know, if you have reliable engines, it is safer just to fly all the way than it is to try to take off and land in the middle of the ocean and rely upon that. So that's what it was designed to do. Well, it was pressed into service by the Luftwaffe as an anti-shipping aircraft. I've heard it said, and I don't know, and this is from documentaries, but documentaries get things wrong. We all know that. That they lost more Condors due to landing back at base than they did to enemy action, because just the stress of overloading the aircraft with bombs, fuel, whatever, depth charges, whatever they were operationally loading them, and taking them off, put more and more strain on them, and they didn't, do enough maintenance. And I'm also figuring a lot of times they probably returned with the bombs on board if they didn't find any target, which would mean landing a heavier aircraft. So it was very cool, but for bombers, B-25 Mitchells comparison, they were very weak and had a very small bomb load, but they just had the beauty of extremely long range for Germany at the time. And so ends my talk on that. You guys excited about the new game? Oh, I am, Pixel. I'm very much. No, we're not going to save this. Okay, Italy joins the war. With France crumbling under the German onslaught, Italy joins the war on the side of the Axis, while its own campaign in the Balkans has turned into a stalemate. The Italian military prepares a new offensive to seize territories in Egypt. You have gained 2 new specialization points. Do you want to consult? Yes, we do. Okay. These are ways, in a sort of a strategic way, to customize. We have done the war economy. We currently have 3 points available to us, and nothing we can use them on at the moment because we need more points. We could have not done the war economy. Yes, so we are heading to the Western Desert, December 1940. Some briefing awaits. Okay, welcome to Egypt. Lord Gort is still, I guess, commanding us. Welcome to Egypt, sir. It seems Mussolini didn't want to be outdone by the Germans. He did not only join the war to get a piece of the French pie, he also swift attacked the British positions in North Africa. Soon he ordered the Italian 10th Army under Marshal Graziani to advance from Libya into Egypt. The Italians came as far as Sidi Barrani within days, but the initial advance also revealed key weaknesses to their forces in North Africa. Well, the 10th Army is numerically strong and is rather ill-equipped for desert warfare and barely motorized. Very true. The Italians then began to dig in as they were struggling to bring up enough supplies. You are tasked to lead the counterstrike to retake lost terrain in the Italian offensive. Preliminary recons reveal the enemy's forward positions are protected by several minefields. It is advised to bypass them and find ways to attack the enemy from behind, since cut-off Italian units may be unable to resist for long without supplies. Bear in mind that our own forces need to take the specific challenges of the desert warfare into account. Therefore, it is critical to secure our lines of supply and communication before you advance further into Libya and seize the fortress of Bardia. Finally, it is imperative to capture the port of Tobruk, which is protected by a ring of fortification and is the critical hub for seaborne supplies. Once this is achieved, we will evaluate our options for deeper advances into the Italian-controlled territory. Okay, capture Bardia, capture Tobruk, eliminate forward positions. Right. Well, it looks like our pilot, even though we've come down here, is still going to be wounded for quite some time. We have an airstrip out here and the ability, I guess, to deploy. Okay, let's... Do we have any... Oh, I guess we don't have any air because it was all shot down before. Well, that's just reconnaissance, but that's in the normally in the round. Now, historically in this, the main sort of initial attack was a much smaller British force. Okay, I have enough points. We're going to reinforce. Much smaller British force than the Italians that they were facing. It was really just surprise and aggression that allowed them to win. Okay, we're going to put the Matilda because it's slow up here. We're going to put a British infantry unit without motorization. Ooh, do we have a engineering unit? No, we don't. What's it cost to buy a engineering unit here? 2 points. 3 if we go to there for. I'm more worried about that than anything else. You know, we had engineers in the last scenario, but they were, you know, from the well, I think we're going to, let's close this for the moment. Let's just put, because I want to aggressively attack here, but let's just put him here. And another British unit here. Hopefully to be able to hold. Now, I do have this unit here that's with trucks. Like cruiser tanks. Anti-tank guns. We are going to see about purchasing some air. I want yeah, we're going to purchase and deploy a Spitfire. I think we'll stick with a tactical bomber. Yes, we'll revive that unit. That'll be better. And I think we'll get a second Spitfire. because I don't know what we're going to be facing. And we still have 2 air points left. I don't know if we may not. I don't know. So ground points, we have 11. Well, we want some artillery. That's for sure. Four points left for ground. And I think what we may do here is, yeah, go universal carrier for you, so that we'll be more mobile. Yes, now we have 2 air points left. There's something better than this, using 1 point up for this Lysander. Gloucester Gladiator, tactical bombers, strategic bombers. Making me think my choice of the Spitfire. No, I think we're going to deploy you. We're going to deploy you. Reconnaissance is useful. Reconnaissance is very useful. So we're going to do that. Okay, so basically just 1 reconnaissance point. We're not, and I'm not, I don't know that I need another one up here. So we'll end our deployment. And we're going to be smart. We're going to fly our reconnaissance aircraft up to spot the CV-33, and so we already knew about the Italian infantry. Go there. I guess we're on the other side of this escarpment or something that we can't attack from there, so we'll have to keep that a little bit in mind how we move. There we go, and he will do a forward escort, and he's going to fly out in the desert here. Oh, this is bad. I did a boo-boo. Oh. Okay, well, I did a boo-boo here. Meaning I can't get, I should have deployed it on this side of the map, but I ran out of space there. Yeah, we'll take some casualties, but these are the guys that are going to move up. Let's push the Italians to give them a chance to move up. Just give air cover to all of these units. You'll just move to there. Hills in the way, yeah. It's more of an escarpment than I thought it was going to be, limiting my abilities to advance. Thought he could join join in around there. Alright, well now all these guys are cut off. Oh, we have... maybe we'll do some sword bombardment. Units do better attacks if they haven't... Naval units do better attacks if they haven't moved earlier in that turn. So keep that in mind. Oh, I forgot to move the Matildas up. Ugh! Because they would have been right there. Oh man, I forgot. Well, so if I had a second ground attack aircraft, I could. But I can still... Oh, you guys are gonna fly up here. Okay, there's doing some Italian air. Let's hope they don't have any area. Okay, well, I'm gonna wait for fuel to catch up and supplies to catch up a little bit better. That should end these guys. Hopefully I won't be able to get an attack me this turn. Yeah, let's move these guys up. They'll be vulnerable. Hopefully, they won't get air attacked this turn. And sort of hopefully, they won't be able to come down to this turn and just really wreck these guys. Yep, I'm liking that. Oh. Back for more pain and suffering. Those guys are not pain and suffering. Well, that didn't work out so well for you. Might have worked out okay had you been at full strength, but we're going to continue our reconnaissance flight up here. Okay, we have another Falco and something unidentified there, some anti-aircraft, more tanks. Very good. These guys are the ones that were slightly weakened. And put those guys to rest. And we'll get there to be next to them to be properly. Go into there, properly destroyed. That would be an anti-tank gun. Those 47mm anti-tank guns the Italians had, I would put them at best a medium velocity gun. Now that's probably bad. That's probably a stupid move. You're probably going to cut me off. These guys are going to come back this way. These guys are going to get me a little Universal carriers, often called Bren carriers, but they are armored carriers. Now, we're not going to be stupid or silly and try to drive the trucks all the way there. Well, here we are because I don't think they're going to get to us, and now they still have anti-aircraft over there. And what's Arno saying here? Do you think the Brits could have kicked out the Italians in North Africa before they... Well, obviously they didn't. Could they have? Yeah, they could have. Who are the guy who really liked deserts? As he put it, there's nothing to get in the way. Yeah, that's also sort of Rommel's it's coming off of Rommel's sentiment, in that there isn't a lot of civilians and other there's geographical things, but there's nothing, because they didn't know about, or didn't really know about the oil down there. So there's nothing particular like you know, the scenario is very right in that Tobruk is what's needed to be held. That's the only thing that's important here, because that's a supply center through the sea. All the, you know, whether you hold here or you hold here in a way is immaterial to the outcome of the war. It's defeating the enemy. And so maneuvering around. Well, they could have. I'm not saying, obviously they didn't, and obviously they were trying to. So I don't want to make it seem like, oh, it would have been easy. But warfare, I just think, had the British just been a little more aggressive, the Italians would have collapsed. Just because the Italian leadership, the Italian soldiers weren't really into it. Because if you look at this battle, I've read it, and it's been more than a few years. I mean, it's been, I don't know, probably 5 years or something since I read about this part of this battle. That the British, I think, let's just say they were outnumbered about 5-1, and they were the assaulting forces. And parts of the camp were palatial for the officers. You know, maybe in tents and all, but were sort of palatially set up. And the British just came in and hit them hard, couldn't attack the whole 10th Army all at once that was in this huge encampment, but could attack part of it. So they were just sort of piecemealing, attacking the whole group. And the Italian commands were never able to get their soldiers organized, set up for like a counterattack, or be able to meet them. So even though they were outnumbered largely, but at the point of contact where the British were attacking, they were either superior in numbers, or they were, especially in the early stages of it, hitting people that were like still asleep, because they hit them very early in the morning, if I remember correctly. And they just, with the ferocity, and so by the time they sort of figured out, because this is over rather large areas, you could well imagine, that one area had collapsed. By the time they figured out that area had collapsed on it, the British were already attacking another area. So it was just a ferocious attack on Italians that just, the leadership, all from the top to the bottom, were just not mentally prepared for it. And it was just something that just hit them very fast, very hard, and they overrun it. They basically take all of this kind of stuff. Huge, massive amount of prisoners. And this is some of Italy's troops that some of the troops have been for quite some time used in the desert as, counterinsurgency, because there's some levels. Now, by World War II, most of it's done, but you look back, definitely before World War I, maybe a little after World War I, yeah, definitely after World War I, because I'm remembering. There's definitely in the western part of, what we think of Libya, modern-day Cyrenaica, out in the desert, there was a desert insurgency going on. And the Italians were fighting it. There were some decent Italians that sort of kind of figure out how to deal with all this stuff. Well, some of these are the guys that get wiped out here. And so, it just... And so I'm taking that and extrapolating it to the idea of a Rommel-like, always push your enemy. Even, you've got a few bullets. Well, go find your enemy and shoot at him to see what happens. Now, if he starts shooting back at you and you're out of bullets, we'll run away. But if he surrenders, take his surrenders. If he runs away, we'll continue to follow him. Just continue to put that pressure on him. The British didn't do that all the way to Tripoli. I mean, they were pushing that way. They just felt they had time to, and then, of course, Rommel shows up, and the game changes. So I take it that it really could have happened. That is my evaluation without looking terribly deep into it. You know, it's just like what I'm doing here. Right here, I can see there's a serious problem. If this unit moves forward out of the town to take here, and then if this anti-tank unit moves into the town, they've now cut off my tank. Now I am moving up here, so it's not like probably going to be tragic, but I'm still, you know, liable to be cut off. Now, had I done it a little bit more methodically, waited back here, waited, you know, somewhere here, get some infantry up, move the infantry to here, then swung the tank around, that would have been better to do. But that's going by sort of the methodical approach. Okay, you've moved. You haven't moved, but I really don't need to just go after things. So we're going to actually sort of fall back with the aircraft. They can shoot at my Lysanders. They're not that expensive to replace. Now, this is a... Oh, we got a more modern TIE fighters, which, because we fell back, we may be able to hit them with 2 aircraft at once. Again, reconnaissance aircraft do not have a fuel limit, so they can stay up as long as they want. Maybe these are ground attack. I don't know the Italian models, aircraft models, but it looks like it has a rear gunner on it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's ground attack, where that's the fighter. Okay, but we are going to head back because we've seen what we need to see. They did not move out. No, we didn't attack there. We can move a little faster along the road now. Okay. Now that we have you sitting here, you sitting there, we're going to use you to attack there. Go out, but you're still being escorted by that Spitfire. You're going to continue to disrupt them. I think it's now time to attack into there. Anti-tank gun there. Yeah, these Bowler 47mm guns, they are at best a medium velocity anti-tank gun, like I was saying. So they're not going to be overly penetrative to tanks. Now, since we're here, what we're going to do is we're going to swing around here to potentially quicker eliminate our supply problem. Potential supply problem. It's not yet one. We're going to move up to here. I wonder if there's any mines there. Probably not. I don't know. this Ender's is basically unarmed. So, yeah. You come back here, we'll get you back to the airstrip and get you... They got shot. Very nice. You can... here. And then we'll draw back to air coverage there. Okay, air cut off. Yeah, see, attacking there wouldn't be terribly bad because, again, those are not that good of anti-tank guns, but I don't know that it's all that useful. Yeah, with the fighter above them, I think they're safe from any real attack. There. Sort of medium or not the lowest one. It was whatever the default was. And quite honestly, because if you notice, my unit strengths are full at 10. They're just at 8. That I think, if you were one level higher, I just went with whatever the default was. I'm not really playing this, quite honestly, so much to challenge myself, more just to show off the gameplay and the scenarios and what it's like. So you can definitely ramp up the difficulty. I think it's 5 levels. I think I'm on level 2 out of 5 possible. So, yeah, I'm not in any way saying that this is playing at hard difficulty levels or anything. Now, hey, we have to make the streamer look good. We can't have me lose, because I lost the Dunkirk scenario the first time I played it on the stream because I wasn't paying attention to enough to the victory conditions of withdrawing 6 units, and it just took too long to get them withdrawn. So yeah, I'm far from like perfect on thinking that this is going to be, yeah. So now here I'm attacking. If I was attacking with a much thinner, the cruiser Mark 4 here has much thinner armor than a Matilda infantry tank. Okay, well. Prep this with some artillery fire. Come over here and then withdraw. Is there an air base out here somewhere I could get? Don't see one. I mean, okay, there's there, but yeah, just going to be worried a little bit about fuel. Okay, so we bombed them, artilleried them, and now we force them to retreat and get into here. Guess you'll stay around to escort him just in case. Oh, we can see here. That is, if I fly out to here, I won't be able to make it back on the fuel that I have. So we're probably going to be starting to head these back next turn, and then we'll assign him to command one unit. Yeah, it's you know, I'm trying to present the game and entertain you guys at the same time. Hopefully, I'm doing it well enough. Be interesting. The thing I try to do, of course, is add history to playing, not just tell you how to play the game. Yeah, continue.